This is Share the Vision, presented by the Resource Center, a discussion of the programs and services of the Resource Center and about issues related to individuals with disabilities. To open today's Share the Vision, Steve Watterson, Community Relations Director at the Resource Center, joins me. Steve, good morning.
Hi, Dennis. How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you. And people will be able to hear right away. I can hear it myself. The acoustics of our program are slightly different today. So tell everybody where we are.
We are in the Human Resources Conference Room at our administrative offices on Dunham Avenue in Celeron.
And we have come to the Human Resources Conference Room to talk about something related to human resources.
Absolutely. It's been a while since we've had the fine folks from our recruitment department on, but as you and longtime listeners are aware, the Resource Center is one of the largest employers in the county with over 1,200 employees. That being the case, there are usually some job openings that we're looking to fill. And we thought today that we would try to focus on jobs that are for maybe somebody who is retired and looking to do something a few hours a week or more, working with individuals with disabilities living in the community, kind of supporting them in becoming more independent and leading the lives that they want to lead. So we're going to talk to Kevin Anderson, who is the administrator of our Individualized Services Department. And then I believe we have an employee named Diana Federo who's going to be in talking about her experiences working for the Resource Center.
And Brian Hanna is also going to be here, Human Resources Specialist at TRC. Let's make it clear to the listeners as we start this, Steve, there's a wide variety of jobs, occupations that the Resource Center is always seeking people to fill. Some of them are quite specific in terms of clinicians requiring certain training, background, certification. There are other jobs that would be more available for the general public, some full-time. We're talking specifically on this program today about part-time opportunities here at the Resource Center.
Well, I think that'll probably be the focus of the program, Dennis. Maybe once Brian is in here, he will. He obviously has a deep knowledge of what our current employee needs are, so he may discuss some of those other ones. But I think to kind of let people be aware of the opportunities to do some part-time work, fulfilling work, working with somebody who has a disability and working with that person one-on-one out in the community, trying to help him or her live the life that he or she wants to lead.
Steve Watterson, Community Relations Director at the Resource Center. We'll meet the rest of today's guests on Share the Vision after this.
Looking for quality primary care in the Jamestown area? TRC Health Services is accepting new patients. TRC Health Services has provided primary care to our community for 20 years. TRC Health Services has an experienced team of health providers, offers fast scheduling of appointments, off-street parking, and bilingual staff, and they can bill most insurances. TRC Health Services, 890 East 2nd Street. Call 661-1447. That's 661-1447.
Joining me now is Brian Hanna, Human Resource Specialist here at the Resource Center. Brian, thank you for coming on the radio with us once again.
Well, thanks for having me.
We are going to be talking about a specific position, as we referred to in the introduction in just a moment. But first, the overview. You wanted to continue a little bit of the overview of employment potentials, availability here at the Resource Center right now. So go right ahead.
All right. Well, the first thing that we'd like everyone to know is that our job board is available online, and the website is www.trcny.org. When you get onto that web page, you can scroll down about halfway down the page. On the right-hand side, you'll see our job board. And when you click on there, you're going to see all of the available positions right now at the Resource Center. And I'm just going to go through a couple of those. I was just on there this morning checking that out. And there's a variety of entry-level positions like direct support professional, supported living specialist, which is the position that we're going to talk about today. There's also, we're looking for a truck driver, there's drivers, and also a cook position that's available right now as entry-level positions. And further on down the list, when you look at more professional positions, right now we're currently looking for a dentist, a speech pathologist, logistics manager for our manufacturing facility. Of course, LPNs and RNs, we're always looking for those, Dennis. So there's a variety of positions available right now on that job board.
It reminds me to say, and I think we've said it before to listeners of this radio program, to the community in general, anyone who's looking for a job will do themselves a service by going to that job board, because the variety of positions available at the Resource Center always it seems, is so broad that it might just catch somebody. It's not as though this is a place where they're only looking for one particular entry-level sort of person. The list you just described is really quite extraordinary.
Right, and you know, it changes quite frequently. You know, the website gets updated every week, and with an agency as large as ours, you can imagine there's lots of different positions. Some of them new positions, some positions that need to be filled with people moving up or leaving the agency. So I always tell people to check regularly, too. It usually is updated every week. There's different positions available.
Now, how can people find that job board again on their internet?
It's www.trcny.org. And like I said, it's on the right-hand side of the page, about halfway down. You'll see the job board. You click on that, and all of the different positions pop up.
Now, there's also a walk-in opportunity for people who want to apply here.
That's correct. We do walk-ins every Tuesday from 9 until noon for the direct support professional and the supported living specialist positions. Those are entry-level positions. We encourage you to apply online before you come down just to save some time. But qualified candidates are getting interviews every Tuesday during walk-in interviews.
Now, Brian, you say come here, and we should identify here again.
Right.
On Dunham Avenue,
We're
just outside
200 Dunham Avenue.
Okay, thank you very much. Stand by, Brian. We'll get back to you a little later in the program. It's my pleasure now to introduce Kevin Anderson, who's the Administrator of Individualized Services here at the Resource Center. Kevin, good morning.
Good morning, Dennis, and how are you?
Well, fine, and I cannot start this section of the program without congratulating you again on the award that you got. We broadcast it as part of our program for this year's awards here at the Resource Center, and it was a pleasure to share that time with you at the Disability Awareness Awards in Dunkirk just a short time ago.
Well, thank you very much. It was an honor to have been recognized and receive that award.
Let me summarize it this way. Kevin is a dedicated employee at the Resource Center and a dedicated volunteer as well. And you set a great example for all of us in terms of your care for your work and your volunteer work here.
Thanks.
The post that we have come to talk about as we zoom in today on one particular job here at the Resource Center is called Supported Living Specialist.
That is correct. The Supported Living Specialists work for the Individualized Services Department, which is a community-based program. We work primarily with individuals that live in the community, but we also work with individuals that live in our certified residence and go out during the day and get acquainted with our community. So the supported living specialist works with either one individual or it could be a group of individuals of 2 or 3 people, introducing them to all that Jamestown and the supporting area has to offer.
How many hours a week does this job entail? Is it part-time, full-time, or?
It can be either. Actually, individuals can work for us for as few as 8 hours a week, or they can work up to 40 hours a week if that fits into their schedule. It tends to be a very flexible schedule in the fact that, we're really working around the needs of the individual. So there may be somebody that needs to have services from 4 to 6 in the afternoon, or there could be somebody that needs services as early as 9 o'clock until 11 o'clock, or it could be a full day that they're working with the individual as well.
We have a special guest who's going to come and talk about her work in this job as a supported living specialist in detail in just a moment. But before that happens, Kevin and maybe Brian will want to chime in on this as well. What's the nature? Just give us a little snapshot or several snapshots of what a supported living specialist might be doing on one day or another, Kevin.
There's a variety of things. You could be helping people with their daily living skills, or you could be taking them out and doing volunteer opportunities. They could be working with them on helping them with their finances, budgeting, their checkbook, etc. They could also be working with them on taking them to some medical appointments or helping them kind of just keep their lives in order a little bit. The one thing that I like about the position, and I think is kind of unique, is the fact that it really allows the individual to be very creative in what they do. If they've identified that there is an interest of one of the individuals that they are working with, then they can kind of find those areas within the community to help them continue to grow and to flourish.
Talk to me a little bit about the people who are helped by supported living specialists. People with some disability, modest disability, a broad range of disabilities.
Absolutely the full range. We have individuals through another program, but it's very similar in the way that it's run, that utilize a wheelchair and have some physical needs that the staff would need to help them with. 2 individuals that are very high functioning and are an integral part of the community already and just need some assistance to either get to places or to kind of express their wants and needs. Maybe they don't advocate for themselves as much as you or I would.
Just one more question or set of questions before we introduce our special guest, and I'll have Brian Hanna join us again on this part of the interview. Who is the ideal candidate for this job if they were to do it part-time? Kevin, Brian.
Actually, it can be somebody who's just getting out of high school and either entering college or entering the workforce for the first time. It can be ideal. But we've also found that we have had some individuals, like the person that you're going to be talking with shortly, who actually is retired and has brought a vast range of knowledge and experience to the position that has been great for the individuals that she serves. It's always exciting when she comes in and tells me about some of the stuff that she's doing with her individuals that I never really thought about, or outlets that I had not thought of just because I hadn't. and she brings this plethora of knowledge to the position that's been great.
Thank you for that. I'm going to hold that thought and have Brian comment on that as you change places with our special guest.
Yeah, it really, it seems the position does seem to work well for college students because of the flexibility that Kevin talked about. They're trying to find individuals that have needs during the times that they're available. You know what I mean? So college students with a variety of different schedules, it seems to work good for them. Also people that just want to supplement their income a little bit. It's like Kevin said, you can work as little as 8-10 hours a week, and that's a good way to supplement your income a little bit. You have a passion to make a difference and help people, and also want to supplement your income. It's a good position.
It is my pleasure now to bring to the microphone Diana Fodero, a supported living specialist here at the Resource Center. Diana, hello.
Hello.
Thank you for taking the time to come in and talk to us about your work here.
It's a pleasure.
A little bit about where you are in life first. Kevin mentioned this is a position that could be ideal for someone who is retired, and that is where you are in life.
And it certainly has been for me. It's been an excellent position. And the job opportunities that we're discussing today all provide excellent opportunities for someone that's wants to get back into the workforce. And yet it's necessary that they have a desire to help, assist, support, and be a positive influence in the lives of people that we, with disabilities and the people that we serve. They all provide excellent opportunities, everything that Brian has mentioned. The needs of the retiree are different from the needs of the younger worker,
How's
the
that?
family. Well, we're living longer, and we're living healthier, and we may need to support our retirement income as the cost of living goes up. Sometimes our retirement doesn't. We all know about the stock market a few years ago. So it's been wonderful for me in that area, but also the retiree wants flexibility. You might want to play golf in the morning and work in the afternoon. So it works. It certainly has worked for me. I love the work. It's rewarding. It has its challenges, but it also gives me the flexibility to do the things that I want to do.
What is it that you love about the work that you do?
Well, it's so different from the corporate. I could never get excited over a sales report or something like that. However, the rewards of seeing someone smile, seeing someone shake hands instead of when they're meeting somebody, instead of just sitting, just sitting and maybe hugging, the appropriate behavior in the community, that they get it when they get it, after you maybe have been reinforcing that along with your team and your colleagues, and just to make them happy. I take a lady to church. It's been her dream to be able to go to church. I take her to church every Sunday, and the other day she picked up a tambourine and started playing with the hymn while they were singing the hymns, and I was so proud. And I could go on, but I don't think we have enough time.
Kevin said that you had brought some unique and novel ideas to working with some of the people that you have worked with in your tenure here. What was he referring to? What are some of the things you have done that surprised even him?
Well, I think that if I've learned anything from this job, I've learned to listen. And when I listen to the individuals and try to find out what they want to do, not what I think they should do, but what they want to do, then I do some research on it. For instance, we volunteer in the community. That is something that most of our plans expect us to do because it's good. And when we volunteer, some people don't like to volunteer certain places and others. So we are volunteering now at St. Susan's, and we are volunteering at the Spire Theater, and hopefully in some of the arts. Dykeman Young Galleries, when there is, every month they have a different exhibit. We learn about the exhibit, and it's fun just to do that. And it's exposing to another segment of the area.
Just to help the listener understand your work a little more, a couple of pointed questions here. Are you working with more than one person at a time, or is it just one person that you work with on a regular basis?
It can be one person at a time. Like, for instance, today, when I'm working today, I'll go pick up 2 gentlemen. We will go out and into the community. We will volunteer. We will exercise. We try to enforce healthy eating. We'll have a healthy snack, hopefully. Hopefully I'll be successful in that area. Not always works, but...
And you mentioned that you were taking a woman to church at another time during the week. How many hours a week are you working altogether now, Diana?
Well, I started with 20. It depends on the needs. So it's between 20 and 30.
Mm-hmm. And during the course of that time, you'd be working with a handful of people all told, or more than that? Or?
No, never. I don't think I've ever worked with more than 3.
At a time?
At a time.
Mm-hmm. And a moment for your work history, because this is kind of interesting how you came to be here, and congratulations to you. I understand as you sat down and we got ready to record today's program that as we speak, and this is a recorded program, you're observing your 2nd anniversary of working here today.
That's right.
So, congratulations on that. Your prior working career, though, as a professional, what did you do in your first career?
Well, I started off many years ago as a telephone operator with New York Telephone.
Wow.
And then I ended up an account executive. And then, as you know, the telephone company went through so many changes. And, we ended up 9X and then Verizon, and now Verizon owns it. But
so this was it a different place in Western New York? You were in Western New York?
I was in Buffalo, yes.
And then you retired to our area?
I did.
How long ago?
My husband and I always liked this area, so we retired here 10 years ago.
Our good luck to have you.
Oh, thank you.
To have you here.
My good luck to be here. It's lovely.
So 10 years ago, you retired, and then what had you done from then to the time you came to TRC?
Well, I did volunteer work, and I did little jobs. I worked at a boutique in Bemis, and, seasonal kind of stuff.
We're hoping on this program today, Diana Federo, to get other people of similar background to yours and interest to come and apply for this job of supported living specialist. How did you come to apply for it?
Well, actually, I was looking for volunteer opportunities, and I went on the website. I did believe at the time that I probably would be too old to be hired, but Kevin and Jessica that interviewed me were wonderful, and they gave me the opportunity. So, and I've loved every minute of it.
So you went from anticipating a volunteer opportunity to a real work opportunity
Right.
that is amounted for 2 years to 20 to 30 hours a week.
Right.
Are you looking back at it? Are you surprised how that turned out for you, or?
I am. I feel very fortunate. I really do, because it's a rewarding job. As I said, it's something that I hadn't done except in a volunteer capacity. I could get in with as an entry level position. It worked out really good for me. I remember my doctor saying when I retired the first time, I'll tell you 2 words, and that's keep moving. So if I can say anything to the retirees out there that are considering coming to the Resource Center, you won't regret it, and you will keep moving.
You anticipated my next question because I wanted you to speak directly. Leave the rest of us in the room out here for the moment. Speak directly to the listener who might be in the situation that you are in and has heard your conversation and might be moved a little bit by it. What else would you say to them to encourage them to contact Brian here at the Resource Center or Kevin and apply for this job?
I know that Kevin and Brian will not take your age into consideration. So a lot of people are intimidated. They think I'm too old. They'll just look at my age or my work record and say, well, it's not doable. You're too old, or you don't have any experience in this field. But the training with the Resource Center is excellent. I don't think you'll regret it.
I don't know. You can feel free to not answer this question if you want to, Diana, but you've made reference to your age a couple of times. Do you want to say how old you are?
No, I don't.
Well,
I don't.
I wanted to give you that opportunity. As I said, you're welcome not to take it. The other thing that you just mentioned that I want you to say a little bit more about is the training that you had. How were you trained? What was it like to get ready to do the work that you do?
Well, I've always been trained in a corporate situation. And so the training was hands-on. The people that were training had been in the field. They had done your job. They knew all about it. They were very professional and very enthused. I loved the training. It was great. Learned a lot. It was condensed, but it was very good.
Diana Federo, thank you for coming in, taking the time to talk to us about your work here at the Resource Center. You are a very enthusiastic advocate on behalf of this kind of work, and I've really enjoyed these last few minutes. Anything you want to say before you go and we bring Kevin and Brian back on here?
No, I think I've said it all.
Well, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
I thank you for your continued contribution to the people in the Resource Center community and to our community in general.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Brian, I know that you know much of the story that you have heard, we've presented to our listeners here today, knew it in advance, but your response to it, hearing it again here today.
It's perfect. That's the perfect person that you want to talk with about this position. It really is. And especially about the training. You know, a lot of folks, if they've never worked with individuals with disabilities, that might be a little bit frightening to them. And our training is so good, and she's so right when it comes to the people that train you have been in the field, and they really have a passion to make sure that when our employees are out with our individuals, that they feel like they have all of the tools that they need to help get them through any situation and to help better that individual's lives. Our training staff really does an excellent job, and I wanted to make sure everybody understood that you don't get thrown out into the community. The training is very, very good.
I can understand why you make that a point of emphasis, because people who have never worked with persons with disabilities may find it a little off-putting. They may be a little afraid, not knowing how to react, not knowing what they might be called upon to do. And what you and Diana both are saying here is that that fear aside, you offer them an opportunity to learn from the wisdom of others who have been there so that they get a good foundation and some assurance as they come to the job.
Excellent. Yeah, absolutely. And it's, and like with Diane as well, the skills that you've brought from other careers or skills that you have acquired throughout life is stuff that you can pass on. You know what I mean? When you find that individual that has an interest that correlates with something you're interested in, you can really, really make a difference and help them.
Kevin Anderson is back at the microphone now, changing places with Diana Federo. Your response, your reaction to her story as she's told it here today.
Diana actually was one of the first people that I hired when I took on this department, and it has been one of the best decisions that I ever made. And she has definitely, she's a little modest, I got to be honest, in the way that she impacts people's lives is amazing. She gave me goosebumps as she sat and talked about what she's done with the job, and I think that it is amazing what she does on a daily basis, and she really does impact people's lives and has really taken this on as a second career and has brought a lot to the people that she works with.
The feeling that I have as we reach this point in the program is that all of us, as we work, certainly want to earn money, to be compensated for what we do, and we want to get some personal fulfillment. But I think, and this is what this speaks to so directly, we also want to know that we're having a positive impact on the lives of people around us, having some positive impact on the world, and that is something that is beyond our own personal satisfaction or beyond our own paycheck. And it sounds like this job, at least for Diana, has been very, very fulfilling in that regard.
Absolutely, and I agree with you. And like Diana, I was in the corporate world before I came to the Resource Center, and what I walk away with every day is amazing. And I think Diana really expressed that well.
So, if we have convinced somebody to inquire further as to what, and the job is called Supported Living Specialist is, whether it might be right for them regardless of their age or their background or their training or their current abilities, what is the right next step for them? Here's Brian again.
Go to our job board, www.trcny.org, and you will click on the little job board icon, and you'll see the Supported Living Specialist among all of the other positions that are available right now. You click on that link, and you'll start your application process. You'll create a little profile that is your profile from now on. You can come back to that job board and review applications that you have submitted. You can see if somebody has looked at it yet or not. There's really a lot of good tools once you create your profile on that website. But I just encourage people to check frequently because it updates, and there's a variety of positions.
Now, we have mentioned that we're talking from the Resource Center's administrative offices just outside Celeron here on Dunham Avenue, and we've been focused mostly on the Jamestown area today. Maybe this would be the appropriate time to remind our listeners that the Resource Center is a county-wide agency and that you might need supported living specialists in places other than Jamestown.
We definitely do. We definitely need some help in the North County, Fredonia, Westfield, Dunkirk area. The same position, the supported living specialist position, there is a need for that out there. So please apply, and we will contact you for interviews because we need supported living specialists in the North County as well.
Did you want to jump on that?
And even rural areas. We have sometimes a very hard time finding staff to work in some of our outlying areas. I mean, you get into the in-between area of North County and South County. So if you're living in Cassadaga and you're looking for something, we probably have somebody that you could serve and make a difference in their lives. So don't be put off by where you live because we may have somebody that needs your help.
Just to finish this, Brian and Kevin, I seem to remember you saying earlier in the program, Brian Hanna, that this is one of those jobs that people could also come in on Tuesdays for if they've applied in advance.
They do. We have walk-ins every Tuesday from 9 until noon here at 200 Dunham Avenue, and the supported living specialist is one of those positions. It's a direct support professional and supported living specialists. Do your application ahead of time, and then come in, and we have walk-in interviews.
It's time for us to close this broadcast today, but I want to thank Brian Hanna, who is a human resource specialist here, and Kevin Anderson, the administrator of individualized services here at the Resource Center, and most especially to Diana Federo, supported living specialist. Thank you all for sharing the vision today.